When comparing two numbers in a ratio, it's very similar to comparing them as a fraction. You can show them in simplest form. So if we look at 12 to 30, I can think of relating 12 to 30, like what's the biggest thing they can both be divided by? Well, I could divide them by 2, I could divide them by 3, but I think 6 would work. And if I divide them both by 6, I get a ratio of 2 to 5, and that's simplest form. So 12 to 30 is the same as 2 to 5. If I look over at 78 and 52, I'm going to think, what do they have in common? How can I make them a smaller version of themselves? So if I divided them both by 2, because I can see that they're even, I get 39 and 26. And I can see that those are both divisible by 13. If I divide them by 13, I get 3 to 2. And 3 and 2 can't be simplified at all. 3 and 2 is the simplest form. Try the two below this, then we'll go on to some harder ones. If you try the next ones, 81 and 45, they are very clearly divisible by 9. It leaves me with 9 and 5, and 9 and 5 are already relatively prime, so they are in their simplest form. It's a ratio of 9 to 5. If I look at 56 and 98, I see that they're both even, so I'll start off by dividing them by 2. This becomes 28. This becomes 49. I think these are both divisible by 7. It gives me 4 and 7. And at this point, I can see 4 and 7 don't have much in common. They're relatively prime. So this in simplest form is a ratio of 4 to 7. They start to get a little bit harder when the comparison amounts aren't the same. So as you can see with this first one, it's saying 60 centimeters to 12 meters. Well, as we said in one of the earlier videos, I can't compare these because they're not the same parts. But I know meters are made up of centimeters. So I can keep this as 60 centimeters. I know in every meter there's 100 centimeters, so this must be 1,200 meters. Centimeters. I can drop the centimeters and just compare 60 to 1,200 and then try to put them in simplest form. I could divide them both by 60, and that'll give me 1 here. And the next one divided by 60 becomes this. And that is simplest form, 1 to 20. If I try the next one, where they're asking us to compare inches and feet, I know there's feet here is not going to work with these inches. But I know in 3 feet, there are 36 inches because 3 times 12. I can drop the inches on these and just compare 27 to 36. And I can see they're both divisible by 9, actually. And that is 3 to 4. And I see that's simplest form, so I compare these as 3 to 4. You can try these next two. Pause it here and see how you do. So for the pounds to ounces, I know that they don't line up perfectly, so I need to do something about this pound. I know there's 16 ounces in a pound, so if I do 5 times 16, I get 80. So now I'm comparing 80 ounces, which is the same as 5 pounds, but now it's in ounces, to 48 ounces. And I believe I can divide both of these by 16, and if I do, I can drop that. This is 5, and this is 3, and they are in simplest form, so the ratio of 80 ounces to 48 ounces is 5 to 3. If I try the last one, seconds to minutes, I can't compare them, obviously, because I have these seconds here and these minutes here. I can change these minutes in a second. So there's 60 seconds in a minute, so this 100 seconds won't change, but the 7 minutes when multiplied by 60 is 420 seconds. Now they're both seconds, so I can drop these. I can divide them both by 20. This becomes 5, and this becomes 21, and that is in simplest form. It's a ratio of 5 to 21.